What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from MTG headquarters, doing what I do, getting you ready for the MTG Eldritch Moon pre-release. So let's get going here. So when you arrive, or what is a pre-release really? It's a way to kick off the new sets that come out, and they're always a lot of fun. It's the earliest you can open the packs in a legal way. You go to an event, they're usually sealed. Some will do draft, and then there's two-headed giant often. This time around, you're going to get 4 packs of Eldritch Moon, 2 boosters of Shadows over Innistrad, a promo card, and a spin-down die. So fortunately, you should already have a pretty good idea about the 2 packs of Shadows. It's the 4 packs of Eldritch Moon that you're going to have to prepare for. While you're trying to plan ahead, what I can recommend is take some time to go over spoilers. Don't waste your time watching videos bloviating on for hours and hours about them. Just go to Mythic Spoiler and go through them. Very easily done and much more time efficient. In fact, I usually just download all the images and then I'll put them on my tablet and kind of read them over before I go to bed at night. Take a little bit of time to look over the Shadows over Innistrad stuff. And also, pre-release is a long event, so you want to plan accordingly. Even though it's not a highly competitive event, people still want to do well because we're Magic players, myself included. And so some of the advice I have is to pack a bag. Make sure you have a playmat, sleeves, a die, pre-sleeved lands, and probably a healthy snack if possible. Make sure you read through and understand all the mechanics of the new set. We're going to go through that in a minute. Make sure you get plenty of sleep, take a shower, and wear a belt. No butt cracks at pre-release. Let's be butt crack free. Ladies and gentlemen, no butt cracks. So, talking about some of the mechanics in Eldritch Moon, you've got Meld, Emerge, Escalate, Madness, and Delirium, with Madness and Delirium being from Shadows over Innistrad. Now, there's of course flip cards, and I give you a little bit of an overview on what each mechanic does here, but I think the only one really that I enjoy is Escalate for sealed, because like we see here with Borrowed Malevolence in the middle, the one in a single black, early game it's a fine trick, but late game it's a great way to pour extra mana in it. So anytime you can squeeze extra value out, especially in sealed events, it's really, really important. So when you're building your deck, be thinking about 2-for-1s, 3-for-1s, extra value, things like that, because you're going to reach some board stalls, and having the ability to dump extra mana into a otherwise innocuous spell makes a big difference, right? So being able to both give your team +1/+1 and theirs -1/-1 is obviously much better than 1+1 for 1, although that's a pretty decent spell in general. So keep an eye out for Escalate spells. So when you get there, they're going to hand you your pre-release box. I really like what they're doing with the new pre-release kit boxes, so good job, Wizards of the Coast. Some of the things that I've learned from pre-releases over the years is that, first of all, board stalls are going to happen. Mana screws are going to happen. Floods are going to happen. But if you try to mitigate risk, or if you try to just accept that and do the rest of these things, you might be doing all right. So you really want to heavily weigh evasion. There are many times in a sealed event where rounds go to time and everyone's got 4 or 5 creatures and 4 or 5 tokens out there, and nobody's doing anything. Being able to fly over the top is extremely important, or any other types of evasion that you might have. Skulk, but Skulk isn't really that good in a board stall. Flying is what you want to be looking for, or unblockable creatures. Also, in this format, normally I talk about weighing your deck a little heavier with more fatties, and I still think you should do that for sealed. But don't get blown out early by not having enough 2 and 3 drops in your deck. Look for 2 and 3 drops that get better later or add value early. Things that investigate when they come into play, or things that can flip and get bigger, are great 2 and 3 drops. Quilled Wolf is a great 2-drop from Shadows. 2-drop 2/2 that you can pay 6 and give it +4/+4 later. That is the kind of high value 2-drops and 3-drops you want to look for. If there isn't a ton of unconditional removal in the sets at anything but rare, so value it highly, play most of your removal, and also don't be too impatient with your removal. Life is a resource, so when you're at 20, they're at 20. Don't waste your removal because you don't have a creature out to block something yet. Save it for something that's going to win you or save the game for you. Be willing to take some damage because you got to crack some eggs. I mean, it's happened. It happens. And in general, you want to stick to 2 colors and stick to 40 cards. You want the best possible cards that you can play, and you want to reduce variance or mana screws. I mean, you can play 3 colors, but I really wouldn't recommend it. If you get a crummy pool and you just want to go straight power level, that's okay too. When you're deck building, you also want to consider if you need to turn anything on. So like Delirium, you might want to play a Warped Landscape in your deck, even if you're only playing 2 colors, as a surefire way to get a land into the graveyard and help trigger it. Maybe you need to put some enchantments that you can sacrifice to get enchantments in your graveyard, because creatures and instants and sorceries will be easy. It's always that 4th type to turn on Delirium that you're struggling with. Definitely you want to play your bombs. So draft, in my opinion, is about great synergy, and sealed is about great bombs. So here's one situation where I might splash a 3rd color for a bomb for like a Planeswalker or a Mythic or something that's just too good to pass up. I think being greedy and sealed, while you will come up short every once in a while, it's generally rewarded in my experience. Remember, also, like I said earlier, sealed is random. The booster packs are random, so don't freak out if you don't get a crazy god pool. It's just, I hear all the time when I'm at pre-release, people are like, oh man, you got such a good pool, that sucks. My pool's junk. It's the luck of the draw. That's all I can say. Here's a sample mana curve for you to consider. Again, consider going top heavy and play 17 to 18 lands. So if you have several 5 and 6 drops that you want to play, maybe you want to absolutely make sure you get to 6 lands on turn 6. So maybe you play 18, but I generally think 17 is totally fine, especially with this set. Let me give you some advice on gameplay. You don't want to rush, okay? On the flip side of that, don't play too slow either. Pre-release, a lot of people are reading a lot of cards and gameplay is slow. A lot of times, your round can go to time, which is extremely frustrating. And if you play in any pre-releases like I do, where there are only 4 rounds, basically round 1 going to time really hoses you, even if you finish 3-0. I guess if you go 3-0, you're fine, but really timing out on your round is ultimate feels bad, man. One thing I've started doing in terms of what I do with sealed now is I've started being on the draw. I think that extra card advantage is worth playing second. You don't have to do what you feel comfortable with, but I've been having pretty good luck with it. Also, don't forget that you have a sideboard, right? So your sideboard is every card you open, all 6 packs, and your promo. So a lot of times people get so caught up and they forget that they might have something to deal with a flyer, or they might have some early chump blockers if they're playing an aggro deck, or they might have some extra removal that they need to play or something. Just keep that in mind. Don't mind, be quick about it, but don't feel bad making your opponent wait in between rounds, because if you just rush into the next game and you lose, what was the point, right? I also recommend bringing a pen and paper to keep your life totals. Generally, phones aren't allowed. I mean, since pre-release is kind of casual, most people use their phones and stuff. But if you use paper and pen, it's very difficult to get knocked over or to deal with any, running out of battery or bumping a button wrong or something like that. Remember that it's supposed to be super fun, and it's also a great way to meet new people. So it shouldn't be all about winning, okay? You want to make sure you prepare so that when you're actually at the event, you can have a ton of fun. I bring a messenger bag with all my lands pre-sleeved to save me time. That's a big piece of advice I can give you. Deck building takes the longest at pre-releases. Pre-sleeve your lands. You will be so thankful when you don't have to wait up in the mob with everyone to try to get some lands for your deck. It'll also give you an extra 5 minutes to build your deck, which is really important. After you've built your deck, make sure you shuffle really good. I can't tell you how many times people get hosed in that first game, either mana flooded or mana screwed, because they build their deck and then they just kind of scoop it up and they shuffle it a few times. I do lots of pile shuffles, 7 pile shuffles, and then a riffle shuffle, and then, I throw it up in the air and I swat it around. Whatever you need to do, but make sure you really shuffle well, because that first game, you're going to be probably a little edgy, or you may make some mistakes. So just make sure you shuffle. That's the last thing you can control, right? Shuffle, and then your fate is sealed for the most part. It's based on the cards you opened and the cards in the order that you pull the cards. So how can you win? Right? Everyone watches this because they want that bulletproof way how to win pre-release. Okay, I'm going to give you the recipe. I've won several pre-releases. I've 3-0'd, I've 4-0'd, I've top 8'd, 100-man pre-release. I've had a lot of success in my life, but I've also had a lot of O2 drops. Okay, so here we go. 1, have a great pool. You can't control it, but you're not going to play your way most likely to a 4-0 at a pre-release. Eventually, you're going to face someone who knows how to play the game just as good or better than you, who has a better pool than you. Okay? Then you have to defy the odds of variance, meaning you pretty much can't get mana screwed the whole night, and you definitely can't get flooded, and you need to pull the right cards at the right time every time. Don't misplay. You got a couple hundred brand new cards. No big deal. Just know what all of them do for the most part and what all the mechanics do, and don't make any mistakes. Then, also, don't get unlucky. So, make sure your opponent, a couple opponents get mana screwed, a couple opponents flood, a couple of opponents brick when they really needed that piece of removal. Whatever it is, things need to go your way. And I'm not even kidding. I mean, I'm being facetious here, but this is basically the recipe to win. Have a great pool. Don't get unlucky. But if you're more into being realistic, the best way you can win in pre-release is simply by having fun. If you want to find a pre-release, make sure you contact your local game store, or Wizards.com has a store locator. Sign up early. Get your spot reserved so you don't have to wait in line with everybody. A lot of local game stores will let you pre-register. I've already pre-registered for a midnight pre-release at my Games Universe in Brookfield and a Saturday day release at Games Universe in Germantown. So if you're around here and you want to hang out on a pre-release day, I will be there. Hopefully opening a great pool, defying the odds, not misplaying, and getting super lucky. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, I'll be answering comments down below. Good luck and have fun, everyone. What's up, and thanks for watching this video. I produce all different kinds of content, so if you haven't yet, click on my face to subscribe. If you want to watch more videos, I've got some sweet playlists, including this one, where I open up every fat pack ever created. I've also got this one over here, where I open just about anything vintage and old and expensive for your enjoyment. And all this is made possible by the awesome backers at our Patreon, which is linked in the description of every video. Hop on over there, check it out, see if it's something you might want to consider. If not, sit back, enjoy, and I'll still love you.